Welcome to the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King, and we had a really electric wild card weekend. In the NFL, we're getting ever closer to the championship game, the Super Bowl. And we just saw the first round of the playoffs, and it was ecstatic, especially the first 2 days. It fell off a little bit with the last two games, in my opinion, but still, there were a lot of solid performances, and I'm really excited to get into it. And now, once again, to talk NFL, Mehul will be joining the program. Thanks for joining, Mehul.
Thanks for having me back again. I couldn't wait to get back on the show and recap this exciting weekend of football that we just had.
Right, as have I. And I think the first game that was played surprised a lot of people because the Panthers obviously made the playoffs for the first time in a while. I believe it was 10 years since Cam Newton and all that stuff went down in Carolina. And they didn't have a positive record. That was the big story about it. They were 8-9 going into this, and they put up a really great fight against the Rams. I was really proud of what they were able to do, and Bryce Young actually looked really solid. I was really proud of this Panthers team. Do you think they have really something in Carolina to build off of in coming years with how well they performed?
It really just comes down to how much Bryce Young is gonna take that jump from this season to the next, like how much of that leap he's gonna make. I believe he's going into year 4, so I believe that they'll be wondering if you can take that next Pro Bowls or Pro Bowl leap, because that's what they would need to know if they're going to extend him to a larger contract. I did hear that they picked up his 5th-year option, so that's something promising to see. I mean,
Right.
it really just depends on how much Bryce Young develops as a player and how much help they
Right.
can get him. Obviously they have that stud wide receiver, Tedero McMillan, and who's favored to win Rookie of the Year. So I mean, they have a
Right.
lot of pieces. I mean, and obviously it just comes down to how much Bryce Young can improve, and that's really just what I have to say about the team moving forward. For just the game itself, I mean, the Panthers proved that winning your division still matters. I mean, all the people were saying that it's gonna be the same situation like happened in
Right.
college football with all the Tulanes, the James Madisons. It's gonna be a blowout and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
Panthers play the Rams competitively, and it basically just ensured that winning your division still matters in the NFL.
Right. I think that was the biggest part of it is it did look like they belonged. Like if you didn't know the records, put that aside, you wouldn't know that they were 8-9. And honestly, Bryce Young, the craziest thing is it was just last year that he was benched for several weeks. And coming in this year with a new head coach and some new players, as you said, Tyrell McMillan had a huge impact in that as well. Because I mean, they drafted Xavier Legette in the first round the previous year, and he hasn't really done much since joining the team. And I think he's really taken a huge jump with McMillan. But and also Jalen Coker played incredible in this game.
Oh
They're
yeah.
gonna. I would hope that they would re-sign him. He's gonna get paid for sure, or somebody will. But honestly, Matthew Stafford, how was his performance in this game? Because he's probably gonna win MVP. I know there's still some talks about
Yeah.
Drake May, but when you're just looking at stats, if you're looking at box scores, you would think Matthew Stafford would be the runaway for this. How do you think he played? Do you think that he showed that he deserves that MVP?
I feel Stafford. I mean, he started off hot. I mean, he completed
Mm-hmm.
first 10 passes. I mean, and then he had that cold stretch where he couldn't complete anything. But I feel
Right.
that even in a game where he wasn't at his usual MVP form, he showed that why he's still the MVP of the league. He is when the Rams needed that drive to win the game, he delivered in the clutch moments, and that's what the MVP does. No matter how the game has been going in the past, it matters of how you can come towards the end. And Matthew Stafford, he was clutch. I mean, obviously, shout out Puka for that interception that he saved.
Right.
Otherwise, that could have flipped the game differently. But yeah,
That was huge. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But it's just I would just say that
Mm-hmm.
this is just a B Matthew Stafford game. But he was clutch in the
Yeah.
end, and that's all that matters. And they're moving on to Chicago next, and that's all you can hope for in the playoffs. I mean, a win's a win.
Right, exactly. All that matters is that you're moving on. And that was a concern that a lot of people had was that the Rams had to go to Carolina. And Carolina obviously didn't have a positive record. And the Rams were that close to winning their division over the Seahawks. So it kind of felt like maybe they should have been hosting this one. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that winning your division should get you a home game?
I mean, that's controversial take nowadays, but honestly, I feel um winning your division should guarantee a playoff spot. And now talking about home field advantage, maybe you can make it that home field advantage should be based off record instead of winning your
Right.
division. But honestly, like I'm not even gonna lie, like the home field advantage that we see from teams like these. I mean, like it just the crowds are going crazy and stuff. I mean, like and that's football. I mean, like you can see all the atmosphere in Carolina. Everyone was going crazy, and I don't know if you see that in LA as much. But I mean, I love
Right.
the whole like underdog thing, like and plus it also gives
Mhm.
the better team, the 5 seed, opportunity to play the villain or whatever, going on the road to like beat them. Honestly, it's just like it's just great football, and like the fans love it. And honestly, I think that we should just keep it because it makes the game so much more important. Because like otherwise it'll just be like the NBA, like based off record, and that's not as fun. Because like those like
Mhm.
week 18 games that come close, like winning your division. I mean, win or go
Right.
home. I mean, like that's good football, and like the product needs that. I mean, like that generates views. So I believe that division should matter.
Right, I agree. It's just when it comes to home field advantage, you're like, oh, I don't know if they deserve that too much just because all the teams in their division suck. But at the end of the day, Carolina showed that they deserve to be here. And I'll be interested to see what happens with Bryce Young and this whole team going forward. And as you said, like, will they take that next step? And Bryce Young has kind of gone back and forth this year where it's like he has a great game where he strings a couple good games together and then he puts one on and then they're like, you're kind of like, why are they starting him? Because he looks like he doesn't belong at times, but he cleans it up. And then you look at a game like this, great place to Coker, McMillan. Like he's had games like that. And also his best game was probably when he played the Rams. That's why I was a little confused why people are saying, oh yeah, this is going to be a blowout. It's like, first off, it's in Carolina, and we just saw this a month, and it went very
Yeah.
similar to this. The only difference was that the Panthers ended up coming out on top. And honestly, I'll have to see what the Rams do in the future. Now, I am a little more hesitant on them now because now they have to go on the road again. And then you're like, okay, if you're close with the Panthers, how are you going to do against the Bears? We'll just have to see because Bears probably a better opponent, but who knows? Maybe the Panthers just better than their record. But we'll have to see what happens with the Rams going forward as they go to Chicago. Now, with the Bears, they hosted the Packers, and this one was way different than the other one. It felt like they had no business winning this game with how it started. How do you think the Bears are going to do going forward when it really felt like they just got out coached for a half and then Matt LaFleur proceeded to do one of his choke jobs? It was a very wild game and crazy to end that. I don't know. I mean, Bears, what do you say about this?
I mean, this was just like the whole like the epitome of both team seasons. I mean, like the Packers start off so well in the beginning of the year, they're like going crazy, and then like they
Right.
just collapsed with the Michael Parsons and all that happened. This game was basically like the entire epitome of their season. They started off really hot. I mean, they're firing all cylinders, and everything just came crashing down. I mean, it just, I mean,
Right.
I mean, it's like a yearly routine at this point that we see the Packers like choke these games that like shouldn't be choked away. And for Bears, I mean, the entire season they were doing this exact thing. They were down big, and then they would come back and win somehow, come back and win somehow, come back and win somehow.
Right.
Which isn't the best formula most times, but the Bears have been doing it consistently, and it's been working. I mean, like I don't know how much like that will affect them go in the later rounds, but this game was specifically, I mean, like, yeah, this game just came down to like special teams and like the Packers. Brandon McManus, former Bronco, missing the kicks that he should have hit. He went 0 for
Right.
2 on field goals. He missed that crucial extra point. I mean, you can't really like blame anyone else for that. I mean, like Jordan Love. I mean, he played flawless. I mean, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, 103
Right.
passer rating. I mean, the blame should not go to him. So honestly, it still gets down to coaching and special teams, and who knows if Matt LaFleur is still going to be there or not.
Right. I mean, to throw this type of game is honestly insane. And the fact that it was a divisional game, like obviously playoffs, that sucks. Like, and it's also, oh, you're a 7 seed, you're on the road. You're not really supposed to win this one. But when it's a divisional rival, that definitely has to sting a little more. And now they've lost to them twice this season. But yeah, this is not on Jordan Love. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's just crazy to think about because the Bears' decisions to go for it on fourth down were very weird in this game. They ended
Yeah,
up converting some late, but they had several where they just kept going for it and they never learned their lesson. And they kept giving the Packers either short fields or actually one where it was more of an arm punt. Would have been better if the Packers didn't intercept it. But do you think that had an effect at all on the Bears? I mean, at the end of the
yeah.
day, they like to go for it on fourth. We know what they did on the Lions with Ben Johnson, but at what point would they just go away from it? They just lived and died by it, I suppose. It was very strange to me.
Yeah, it was really weird because I thought like the way this game was going. I mean, the Bears failing on the all the fourth down. I was like, this is gonna be a Ben Johnson disaster class. I mean, like this is
Right.
weird coaching. I mean, like you don't go full of Dan Campbell. I mean,
Right.
that is not a recipe for success. But honestly, I mean, the credit to the Bears. I mean, they've been like um kind of converting these and like stuff towards the end of the games. And honestly, like if you just look at the box score, the fourth quarter, 25 points in the fourth quarter, and they had 6 points before. Like that is unheard of, and
Right.
I don't know what just happens when the fourth quarter comes. But this team just turns into a whole different team. It goes from the 0-17 Cleveland Browns to the 17-0 New England Patriots 16-0. Yeah, it's just crazy to see.
Right. And I mean, if you want to blame anyone, you could certainly place the blame on Brandon McManus. And honestly, allowing 25 points in the fourth quarter, I think that's just like, oh, like if you're blaming the kicker for that, like you had way other problems. But the reality is that McManus missed that kick at the end of the second half. And do you think that had any kind of momentum swing? Because he missed several kicks late, but if he hits that, it's, I mean, 24-3 at half. Like, I don't know. I just think that if he hit a few more of those kicks, I mean, it's just crazy to see him because you see all these kickers that are getting older and you're like, they kind of go out of their prime. We saw that with Justin Tucker's last year. Do you think it's time for McManus to hang it up? Because this was a disaster class from his right leg.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just time, and like I don't know if like something's like affecting him because
Right.
psychologically because like he also had the whole incident thing in the airplane, the whole like
Right.
allegations against him. I mean the same thing happened with Tucker. I mean I don't know if that's affecting their psyche or like what we're seeing, but like it might be time for him to just like call it quits at this point. I mean, like I doubt the Packers are gonna bring him back. I mean, like maybe in case the kicker gets injured, he might be back on like a week to week basis. But it feels like his
Right.
long term life as a kicker for a team is gone now. I feel like, but that's
Mhm.
basically what on Packers. That's basically literally it. I mean, like the offense was clicking. I mean the
Mhm.
run game was also like clicking until the fourth quarter. It was just it felt like they went a little bit too conservative as well. I'm like
Mhm.
they were just like trying to like just hand off, punt, hand off, punt, like 2 or 3 drives in a row, and it just like they just felt like that
Yeah.
like they would easily win the game, and it was the whole Atlanta Falcons thing. I mean, going way too conservative or like passing the ball too much, but they were like going way too conservative, and and it's the thing that we see with Matt LaFleur way too many times now. I'm like, how many more times are we gonna see this until like it's time for him to just like get out of Green Bay?
Right. And what's kind of interesting about this is do you think that Jordan Love's kind of taking up the mantle of Aaron Rodgers where you play well in playoff games and somehow find a way to lose anyway?
Yeah, he's in the whole Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen experience right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, playing well and then having your defense like sell for you and the special teams. But honestly, but on the Bear side of things, I mean Caleb Williams, I mean he had a decent performance, had picks, had touchdowns, but it's just like as soon as the fourth quarter hits, I mean he just turns into a different player. I mean like, but the one flaw in
Right.
Caleb I still see is the whole completion percentage thing. I mean like how much does completion percentage even matter? I mean like I mean he went 24 for 40, yeah, it's 50%, 361 yards. I mean honestly it's a whole debate with the completion percentage and passer rating, and his passer
Right.
rating wasn't great either. It was 71.6. I mean that's my one, I guess, flaw in Caleb. I mean, he had that great 4th and 8 like pass. I mean, that basically saved the game for
Right.
them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that pass was ridiculous. Getting sacked, falling out of bounds, tossing it up to Romo Dunze. That play was insane. And something that I want to touch on as well is Colston Loveland. A lot of people were making fun of the Bears for a lot of, like, at least the first half of the season for not taking Tyler Warren because you saw how well he was playing for the Colts during their win streak. But what a game for Colston Loveland. I mean, he was insane. 8 catches, 137 yards, and he didn't end up getting a touchdown, but he was great, and he was always the guy right there when Caleb needed him. How integral was he, and how important do you think he's going to be throughout the rest of the playoffs?
Oh yeah, having that security blanket. I mean, having that tight end that
Right.
like were in like crucial downs. I mean, like that go
Mhm.
to guy, having that player, and like that is key. And like I feel like Colston is gonna
Mhm.
be like a great stable tight end for the Bears for many years to come. I mean, we're gonna see many Caleb Williams, Colston Loveland. Like huge performances. I mean, like it's gonna happen. It's great to like see him like develop into the player that we thought he was gonna be.
Right, absolutely, and he was pretty solid at Michigan as well.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what happens with the Packers, because when you thought like, oh, Harbaugh's on the market, oh, Tomlin's on the market, like our team's going to start moving away from teams, and like we saw that with some coach firings that we'll talk about later, and
Yeah.
with Harbaugh's new position. So, do you think Packers fire LaFleur? Do you think there's anyone that they should try to go for, or do you think they should stick it out for next year?
Honestly, it really comes down to like how. I mean, obviously, I mean they don't have any like ownership. I mean, there's no ownership. I'm the fans of the team, so I don't really know the process of like how the Packers are exactly. But honestly,
Right.
it like really just comes down to the point. Like Jordan Love is it's hard to believe, but he's gonna be 28 years old by the time next season comes around. I mean, like how many more years do you have where you can
He's
contend with him? I mean, like obviously 28 years old is still like young, but like in the NFL, I mean, like how many more chances do you get? Because like every year, I mean, it's less and less, and there's so many good teams, so many stacked rosters and stuff. So like, how much longer do you have with Jordan Love? So to maximize his best abilities, I mean, wouldn't you want a different coach try something else out? Because the whole Lafleur experiment has not been working. I mean, it's been like 7 years now with him, and clearly, in big moments, I mean, he just goes
Mhm.
he's that shaky within, like he gets cold. And honestly, with Jordan Love like getting like older now, like the best thing
Right.
to do is just move on and see like what else is out there for him that will like maximize his abilities. So because the Packers, yes, they have they have one of the youngest rosters in the league, I think. So like they have plenty of years
Right.
like that to compete. But honestly, the best way is to just like move on from LaFleur.
Right. And it feels like he's part of a lot of these collapses. If you think about when they played the 49ers a few years ago in the playoffs where they had it. And then that was also kind of on the kicker as well. Interesting that history kind of repeated itself. But he was also on the staff during 28-3 when the Falcons ended up losing
Yeah.
to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So you think maybe he has that tendency to blow big games, and it kind of feels like, oh, there's the classic LaFleur game. They always do that
Yeah.
right when it matters. And the Bears, on the other hand, are now kind of turning a corner with Ben Johnson that they got from Detroit. He's everything that they could have wanted. And now they've won a playoff game where they probably shouldn't have won it, but they somehow found a way to. It kind of felt like the first half, like they didn't want to win it. They were playing to lose it, certainly, with going for it on fourth. When you go for it on fourth
Yeah.
in your own territory and you're still within one score, it's very silly decision making. But the Bears end up finding a way to come out on top
Yeah.
due to the Packers' incompetence, and we'll have to see how they do when they take on the Los Angeles Rams in Chicago next week. Then the Bills and the Jaguars. This was a huge one to kick off Saturday. And I mean, we all thought, oh, like, there's no way Josh Allen is going to be a first round exit the year that Mahomes isn't even in the playoffs. And it was really on him. He was getting bruised a lot. He had messed up his hand. He had messed up his leg on a QB sneak. But they still needed him on every play, and they end up winning because of him, as he's able to have several key sneaks and several key throws. Josh Allen was huge in this game, and we'll have to see how they do going forward. But how do you think his performance was, and do you think that this is sustainable for the Bills with Josh Allen? Because it feels like they just need him to be Superman every time, but it works here in the first round, Mayhul.
I mean, Josh Allen was doing Josh Allen things. I like it's just like we just get
Right,
so numb to it that like it's nothing so spectacular at this point. Like we're like just used to seeing him like do this. It's just
right.
sustainable. I mean, it could be sustainable. I'm like I think it might have to be sustained if the Bills plan on like making a deep run into the
Right.
Super Bowl. I mean, like so yeah, they're gonna need Josh Allen to like be this version of Josh Allen. I mean, as they playoff Josh, they need this Josh Allen. Against the Broncos next week as well. And if we're talking about um the rushing, okay, James Cook, I mean, 15 carries, 46 yards. I mean, like for the Bills to like have more success, they're gonna need James Cook to like get going. I mean, take the pressure off Josh Allen a bit. I mean,
Right.
obviously they're going against the number one run defense in the Jaguars.
Right.
Receiving wise, I mean, it was just like a lot of different people got to eat. I mean, Khalil Shakir, 12 receptions, 82 yards. Brandon Cooks, he had that huge catch late in the game. Keon Coleman, Cookies made an appearance. Dawson
Right.
Knox, Dalton Kincaid, the tight ends were involved. I mean, it just comes down to like Josh Allen like save us when like the time is needed, and James Cook needs to like steady us. So literally, that's the Bills' best way to win. Just hope that Josh Allen stays on. Defensively, though, I was impressed how the Bills played defensively. And like
Right.
they're prone to like giving up a lot of yards on the ground. I mean, they have the third to worst run defense in the NFL, so they're prone to that. But their pass defense, can you believe it? They're the number one pass defense in the NFL. That's kind of hard to believe. I mean, and I don't know if that's like large part because teams just run the ball on them or like they're actually good. But if you saw
Right.
the defense, I mean, like they picked off Trevor twice, and shout out my guy Tre'Davious White. I mean, like he was balling. I mean, like it's nice to see him like ball
Right.
after the ACL and Achilles tear. So that was nice to see.
Right.
But the game just came down to Josh Allen making Josh Allen plays when the time was needed, and the defense coming up huge, which is a rarity to see. Honestly, I mean, like we've seen the defense let down Josh Allen many times. But yeah, that was basically the
Right.
story of the game for the Buffalo Bills, in my perspective.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, Josh Allen had to lead 2 touchdown drives down the stretch. Not only the one where he threw that beautiful touchdown pass to Dalton Kincaid, but then Jacksonville immediately responds with a touchdown to Washington. And then Josh Allen drives back down and gets his team down. And then it was like a 10-yard QB sneak on 4th down. It was a very interesting play. But what was very interesting to me is that there was a minute left and the Jaguars didn't have any timeouts, but the Bills chose to score on that very next play. Do you think they were just more so worried about like, oh, like we have to make sure that we score? Because Cam Little's on the other side. If you give them too much time, like you would think that they would be able to get in
Yeah,
his range, where it's just like if you just have one play and waste all the time down because they don't have timeouts.
I'm like that's seriously the argument. I mean, you had all 3 timeouts as a team, and there was like a minute. Like, wouldn't you want to like give them at least like 20 seconds? I'm like that's what you would hope for. But
Right.
obviously the Bills are like scoring is not a guarantee, you know. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's best to just like punch it in, just hope on defense. I mean, like obviously they forced the turnover, so it doesn't really matter. But like it
Right.
could have been like one of those coaching gags that we would have been talking about if the Bills ended up losing this game instead.
Right. Absolutely. And instead, Trevor Lawrence immediately turns around and throws an interception. Wasn't necessarily his fault, ends up getting tipped, and then the Bills make a huge defensive play, and they do it for Josh Allen, where now
Yeah,
he's going to be into the divisional round, and through the divisional, through the AFC Championship game, I think the biggest thing is he doesn't have to worry about the Chiefs because he had lost
yeah,
to the Texans in his first playoff appearance years ago, back when they still had Deshaun Watson,
yeah.
and I'd have to check the math on this, but has he lost, other than Joe Burrow, has he lost to anybody else besides Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs since then? I don't
No,
think so, but it
lost
feels
to
like every year
Burrow
that's
one.
that's like a
Yeah,
yearly recurrence, right?
yeah, yeah. It's the annual Josh Allen playing his best and then losing to the Chiefs in a heartbreaker.
Right. Right,
I
but
mean that.
that's the thing. He doesn't have to worry about it because as much as I love the Broncos, which are my favorite team, they're not the Chiefs. Like we are beatable, unfortunately. Like I could see the Bills, and that's what's the thing is that we need to take a step back and realize that if the Bills were to do this, how incredible of a playoff
Yeah,
just series this would be because they went to Jacksonville and then they would go to Denver and then to either Houston or New England, which are going to be tough places
yeah,
either way, and then play presumably either like the Seahawks, the Rams, the Bears, whatever the case may be. But going on the road all the way throughout the playoffs and then winning the Super Bowl, I think that's why this ring would mean so much more. Like when people talk about like when they're like in basketball, they're like, oh, Kawhi Leonard's ring, that meant so much more.
yeah,
Dirk Nowitzki's like with who he had to play. Like honestly, the lineup that the Bills have and constantly being on the road, this could be, if they were to pull it off, one of the better title runs that we've seen in recent memory, Mayhole.
yeah. I mean, like I can definitely see it. I mean, it's gonna be tough, obviously, like on the road. But I mean, in these playoffs, I mean, like you have Josh Allen on your side and the other team doesn't, so like you can never count them out now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. On the Jaguars side, I mean, I kind of feel bad for Jacksonville. I'm like, I like the
Right.
Jaguars. It's just unfortunate that like they had to like face Superman or yeah, in the first round. I mean, like I thought that the Jaguars had a lot of potential this season, and sad to like
Right.
see them like get eliminated in the first round. I mean, like, but can you talk about Parker Washington real quick? I mean, that guy is a stud. Like, I mean,
Right.
a stud. And I don't even remember, was he undrafted?
I don't know actually. I think he might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it's just insane to see him. And like the weird thing is like the Jaguars offense was like fire on cylinders, and they had Travis Hunter, who was still recovering from his ACL injury, which is crazy to see. I'm like, once you add him back in the lineup, I mean, who knows? Jacksonville has a amazing future. I mean, especially with Liam Cohen. I mean, like, he's a great head coach. I mean, I would say he would be my coach of the year. I don't think he's gonna win. I think Vrabel might get it, but he'll be my personal coach of the year to see that turnaround, to see the Jaguars going from one of the worst teams to like winning the division. But yeah, it was just sad to see on the side of Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on the Jaguars?
Right. I think they're definitely going to be disappointed, but honestly, you won the division, which was huge. But honestly, I think a bigger part is that this is such a tough draw because going into the final week, there were three teams that were in contention for the number one seed: the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Jaguars. Now, the Broncos didn't have to play at all. The Patriots end up playing an injured Chargers team where there was basically no offensive line to
Yeah,
protect Justin Herbert. And then the Jaguars have to play Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Like, that's a terrible draw, especially as a six seed. And you think about the other teams that were in contention for that number one pick, and they just cruise. Either they were playing a game or they weren't. It felt like those teams never had a risk of
yeah,
losing. Where it's just like, you think of just how important the seeding was this year because it felt so warped. Like we were talking about for so long, like, man, if the Chiefs were able to sneak into the playoffs as like a 7 seed or a 6 seed, like, wouldn't that be ridiculous? Because it's like, that's not your typical 6 seed. That's not who you want to face in the playoffs. Same thing here. You do not want to face the Bills in the first round, and you shouldn't have had to because you won
yeah.
the division and you were in contention for the number one pick. It's just crazy how the NFL has this much parity where that's where you end up playing the Bills. And that's just a really tough draw because you could have either not played anyone or played the withered Chargers, and I think they would have been fine with either of those situations. But I think this was just the worst possible case. I mean, they would probably maybe have even rather played the Texans. It's just you don't
I
want
mean,
to
yeah,
play playoff Josh Allen.
yeah. It's just like, I mean, it's just sad to see like this like two of the best teams. I'm like out no disrespect to any of the other teams, but I felt like the three best teams in the playoffs were the Broncos, Bills, and Jaguars, and it felt like unfortunately one of those teams had to be like eliminated in the first round, and now we'll get to see
Right.
the Broncos Bills. I mean, like I feel like that the winner of that is going to the Super Bowl. Personal opinion, but I'll talk about that more later on. But yeah, it
Right.
just felt like whoever won, I mean, they got a thrilling victory, and whoever lost got a unfortunate loss. I mean, like it just, yeah, it's just the NFL. I mean, parity happens, and then you run into like teams and players that you don't want to face. I mean, like you would
Right.
rather face the Chargers in this situation, but that's the draw that they got, and there's nothing much they can do. But like it's a good season to build on. I mean, like it's a great way to like. I mean, the Jaguars have a great future. I mean, like honestly, I mean Trevor Lawrence
Right.
had a great season. I mean, it feels like that like he's gonna be like a consistent like I feel like that Trevor Lawrence has taken that jump and we'll continue to see that hopefully in next season, and like once Travis Hunter comes back we'll see the Jaguars like stronger than
Right.
ever, and they'll be back here next year, and hopefully next time they don't get this tough of a draw.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely. And a big signing that they did mid-season was Jacoby Myers. He was kind of absent in this game. He only had a catch for 12 yards, and that was one of the big additions that they had where it was kind of like the Jaguars had chances. And also the sequence down the second to the end of the first half, the
oh
way that
yeah,
ended, where they ended up getting Cam Little a chance, which I don't know how there was any time on the clock. Just barely, I guess, if the center's hand is moving, and then the Bills got caught off sides. That whole sequence was insane.
yeah.
But you get Cam Little, who's one of the better field goal kickers in the league, and people are gonna blame him, but there was a lot of wins going on in that stadium, so I understand it. But a guy that was like that, he was kind of automatic for a large part of the year. He has now the two longest field goals in NFL history. To miss
Yeah.
that type of kick, and then you look at the scoreboard at the end of the game, and you only lost by 3. That certainly could have warped the outcome if he hits that kick. You think?
I mean, ball don't lie. I mean, like that
Right.
was like one of those like moments where like that. I feel like that completely changed the game for him. I mean, obviously it was going back and forth, but if he hits that, I mean, the game will be going to overtime, and who knows what happens in overtime at that point. But yeah, it just came down to special teams. I mean, like special.
Mhm.
That's why football's a three-phase sport. I mean, you can try your hardest. I mean, like offensively. I mean, like Trevor Lawrence had 2 go-ahead touchdowns. I mean, passes,
Right.
which is only the third time that's ever happened in NFL history. The first time was Drew Brees against the 49ers in the catch three. The second time was Josh Allen in the 13-second game, and now it's Trevor Lawrence. It's just unfortunate to see. You just run against a player who's just like so much better than everyone else, and like it's just a tough draw. I mean, there's not much you can do with that. situation. But I believe in like Duval County, they'll be back next year, and like we'll see them. Maybe they'll be the one seed next year. I mean, like they'll be upgrading them then. Yeah.
Right. I think so as well. And that's kind of a theme of these last two games where it's just like, man, for the Jaguars and the Packers, they missed that field goal towards the end of the second half. And then the Packers end up in a situation where they could have kicked a field goal and won the game, actually, had they missed, like, made an extra point or made another field goal. But if they make that one, then they can just take one and win the game. The Jaguars, similar thing. The game would have been tied. They could have actually gone for the win instead of end up throwing away the game. And then they're just eliminated. That's what's unfortunate about this. And that's a theme that we've seen so far with the Packers and the Jags. And for now, we'll have to see what happens with Duval next year. I think they have a great future, though. Liam Cohen, which great seasons. And the fact that they had that turnaround where they had won several games in a row and they were knocking off teams. And we're talking about the Broncos. They're like, oh, they're the one seed. Can anyone beat them? The Jaguars went into their house and they did pretty
Destroyed
good.
them. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But
Slightly. Put on Broncos had like a mini comeback, but yeah. Yeah, but like
right.
it was like
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
Right, but we'll have to see what ends up happening with the Bills when they go to Denver. And this is a very solid victory for Josh Allen, and would have been crazy if he was a first-round exit the one year that Mahomes isn't in the playoffs. So we'll see if the Bills can finally get it done in the divisional round. Then the 49ers and the Eagles. Now, this one was really interesting. The Eagles' play calling was horrendous. 49ers end up winning 23-19, and it was very unfortunate for the 49ers because they lost George Kittle. They already had several injuries, but for some reason, it hasn't really affected them. It really affected them last season, and then they just keep getting guys injured, but then it doesn't matter. I don't understand what's going on with this 49ers team, but they end up holding off the Eagles here in the wild card round.
I mean, this is just like Kyle Shanahan masterclass at the end of the day. I mean, with all those players out. I mean, on defense and
Right.
George Kittle like tearing his Achilles. I mean, like yeah, it's just like we just saw Kyle Shanahan like in his bag, just like he had the perfect game plan going to Philly and like beating the Eagles. Yeah, but this game, I was hate watching both of the teams because I don't like the 49ers, obviously, and the
Right.
Eagles, I'm not a fan of them either. But honestly, this is just the games where like I didn't care who really won. I mean, but it
Right.
just turned out to be just a Kyle Shanahan masterclass at the end of the day, and a Kevin Patullo disaster class. I mean, that's what Eagles fans have been saying the entire season. I mean, Kevin Patullo is the reason why the Eagles are held back. I'm like, they had arguably the best roster in the NFL, and like getting first rounded to a
Right.
team that was completely outmanned. I mean, like it just
Right.
David versus Goliath, and we saw the 49ers like come victory. Just one of those things that like you didn't expect to see, but it happened. I mean, that's the NFL playoffs. I mean, you see some weird stuff, and this was, I would say, probably the upset of the week, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, the play calls just felt so horrendous. Like, if you've seen all these memes where it's like Saquon up the middle, Saquon up the middle, AJ
Saquon.
on deep ball, incomplete. It's like that felt like what this game was. Like, you just fall asleep watching this type of game. It took a
Yeah.
minute for something to happen, and then the trick play was the biggest part of this game,
Oh yeah.
honestly. They end up flipping it to Juwan Jennings. And then he throws a touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey. He threw one as well in the Super Bowl a few years ago. I believe he actually has the same amount of playoff touchdowns thrown as Justin Herbert, which is a crazy stat.
Yeah.
But the real problem is that the Eagles do have talent, and they did lose a lot of guys on defense, but they were able to figure that out. Like, if you think about gross games they won, like against the Packers, it was like 10-3, or it might have been 10-7 at the end. But like some of these games have been just so disgusting where the play calling on offense is horrendous, and you just felt like it was going to bite them eventually on the big
Yeah. I
stage.
mean,
And Niners are taking advantage of that.
yeah, I mean, like this game really just came out of coaching. I mean, and then Kyle Shanahan
Right.
definitely outcoached Nick Sirianni, and like he had the perfect plan. I mean, he knew what to execute, and like the defense. I mean, shout out Robert Saleh. I mean, he's back as the defensive
Right.
coordinator. I mean, like we just see like the 49ers. I mean, it doesn't matter who is there, but they just make plays. They make plays. They make plays. I mean, honestly, like the players get injured. Next man up. Next man up. Next man up. I mean, the injury gods have it out for the 49ers. I mean, if you just look
Right.
at year by year, how many injuries the 49ers have went through, and they still persevere, and like they keep fighting, they keep doing it, and now they're going to Seattle.
Right. That's going to be a really interesting game. I mean, we just saw Seattle go to San Francisco, and it did not go well for the Niners. So we'll see how that one ends up going. But the Eagles, I mean, other than moving Kevin Patullo, I don't think he actually got fired. I think he just got demoted. He's still
Oh,
going to
okay.
be on the staff. But I mean, Who do you think? What changes do you think the Eagles are going to need to make? Because AJ Brown did not show up in this game. Kevin Patula was not great in this game. What overall change do you think the Eagles need to make going forward? Do you think AJ Brown stays? What do you think they need to do to come back better next season?
I feel like the Eagles are at a point where I feel like that AJ Brown's relationship with Nick Sirianni, he has like hit his dead end. They're like they don't like each other. They don't want to like work
Mm-hmm.
together. I mean, you also saw the altercation that AJ Brown and Nick Sirianni had. I mean, like it
Right.
really just depends on like I bet one of them is gonna leave, and I bet AJ Brown's the one that's gonna get out of Philly. And I feel like that's so we're gonna see a different Eagles team, new offensive coordinator. We're gonna see like Devontae
Mm-hmm.
Smith wide receiver one role now. And I
Right.
was like seeing something. I don't know if this is like a rumor or like this is like completely fake. I was seeing Jalen Hurts trade rumors, which I doubt. I don't think Jalen Hurts is getting traded. I mean I
Yeah.
don't.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, it just feels like we're gonna see a new version of Philly next year.
Right. And it's really funny to see these playoff teams where it's just like Tomlin gets fired, the Eagles, like the OC's got to go, players got to go when they're losing in the playoffs. And then you see a team like the Bengals, like, oh, yeah, I guess Taylor's staying. Yeah, we're not going to make changes to the defense. It's like, it's kind of funny where it's like these teams that are in the playoffs are like, well, we need to get further. But then the Bengals are just kind of not doing much, I guess. But we'll see what happens
Terrible
with that.
ownership there. Terrible.
What was that? Oh,
Yeah, the ownership there in Cincinnati is just terrible. I mean, yeah,
right. Right, yeah, I don't know. And the 49ers, I mean, this was a solid game for them. And I think it's just the fact that they're so injured to do this is crazy. Now the Eagles also ended up missing, believe an extra point that kind of cost them a chance to
yeah,
tie the game. That was a big story with a lot of these games.
yeah. I mean, that's basically just proves my point further. I mean, it's a three-phase game. I mean, every single
Right.
phase matters. And um, Jake Elliott, if he hit the extra point, I mean, the Eagles on the last drive winning a touchdown, they always need a field goal to send the game into overtime, and who knows what would happen after that. I mean, special teams is really important, and that's basically the entire. We saw in the Walker weekend how important that phase is of the game.
Mhm. Right.
I also saw something interesting. People are saying that they want to like just abolish kicking out of football because completely because like they're saying that like a player that doesn't look like a football player, a soccer player, gets to decide the fate of a team. I mean, is that really fair or not? So it's a weird argument on social media where like should place kicking still be a thing or should kicking not be a thing in football and it should just be offense versus defense?
I don't know. It should definitely still be a thing. It's an integral
Yeah,
part of the game. And I think that's what's great is that when you say like all three phases, like we're like, oh, we only want to see the offense or the defense, like special teams is really important, not only for kickoffs and punts or whatever, but like it's huge for getting points.
yeah,
And they've tried to make it more difficult where I know people are saying, like, oh, I don't understand why the kickers don't make it every single time. It's like if they made it every single time, then there'd be no point in any of these
yeah,
kicks. Well, that's what you see when they move the extra point back. That's what you see in college football where the hashes are insane, where they really make it difficult for those kickers to make those field goals, where it's just like it really is an integral part of the game and it does matter. And I understand, oh, like a player can decide the whole fate when they like they're saying they don't look like as much of an
yeah,
athlete as some of the other guys.
yeah.
That does make sense, but I think it's still a huge part of the game. And I think the whole point of like, oh, like you don't want to settle for threes, you want to get sevens, like that is a huge part. And I don't understand why people would want to abolish kicking from the NFL.
Yeah. That's just obviously the people on Twitter are going
Right,
crazy and stuff. I mean, overreactions. I mean, we see that all the time in sports. I mean,
right.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, we need to have some reason. We need to have some reason to call it football still. So
yeah. I mean, otherwise it'll just be
yeah,
handball.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We'll just steal another sports name. Yeah, but
Yeah,
man, I mean, we'll see how the 49ers do in the next round. But the Eagles, there's not much to be ashamed about. The coaching wasn't great. You had a lot of talent, but at the end of the day, you're like, well, we just won a Super Bowl. So you can't be too upset about this. But the 49ers, they haven't won a Super Bowl in this century. We'll have to see how they do next week.
yeah,
And the 49ers, I mean, it's just a tough task. You got to go to Seattle. Few teams can go into Seattle and win. And as you look at the Seahawks, they've hardly lost all year. We'll get to that one eventually. But I mean, 49ers, you just
yeah,
wonder at some point will the injuries come up to them, and I don't know if they will. As good as I think the Seahawks are, the 49ers just feel like they're almost immune to it at this point. So see how they end up faring when they go to Seattle in the divisional round.
yeah,
Now, this one, now we start to get into the games that I wasn't that excited to talk about. I mean, there's not much going on with these games. Patriots ended up taking care of business against the Chargers.
Yeah, this
Chargers
game
had
has
no
bored
O-line.
me.
Right, exactly. I mean, the Patriots ended up coming away with a win. I mean, they didn't have much resistance. Even though the Chargers had a great defense, they couldn't move the ball at all. I mean, Herbert was pressured on almost all of his attempts. I mean, it was just a rough game all around for the Chargers. They really need to rebuild that O-line, or it was more so they need to get healthy because guys like Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, they're still waiting for those guys to come back. And then you look at when they put up the PFF grades on the screen, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
he's that bad. Oh, he's that bad. It's like, how is he still alive out there? Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's just, I mean, injuries and
Mhm.
terrible coaching and like the Greg Roman
Right.
experience. Like, I mean, if you remember Baltimore, how everyone's frustrated with
Mhm.
Greg, and like we just saw like all the things happening year after year with Greg Roman and obviously with the O line. I mean, like that's large part of because as you mentioned the injuries. I mean, they don't necessarily have to like get more pieces. They just gotta like get people healthier. I mean, like and then like I
Mhm.
guess running back, I mean, like honestly, I mean, like it just felt like
Yep.
a season that like where injuries just killed him. And honestly, with Justin Herbert, I mean, it's another playoff game where he just didn't perform like he does in the regular season. I mean, obviously you can blame the the O line, you can blame the injuries, you can blame a lot of other stuff, but it really just comes down to Justin Herbert's just not the same player in the postseason as in the regular season. I mean, like I'm not a Justin Herbert hater necessarily. I mean, it just facts are the facts.
Right. And there was something that I was arguing for at the beginning of the season where I was saying that he didn't feel top 10 to me. And that's lack of playoff wins is a big thing where it's just like, okay, there's no MVPs. All right. Oh, there's no division wins either. Okay. Well, did he win in the playoffs at all? Well, he's been in the playoffs 3 times now. And at one hand, he had a huge collapse where Trevor Lawrence had thrown 4 first half interceptions. And then somehow the Chargers found a way to lose that. And then last year, people said they had a bye because the Texans were not looking great. And then all of a sudden, the
Yeah.
Chargers just got blown out. And then this year, again, they just look gross on the field in the playoffs. I mean, do you think there needs to be any changes? Do you think the O-line just needs to get healthy? Do you think Justin Herbert's not that guy? What do you think the Chargers need to do going forward to try to
I
take
mean,
that next step? Because they feel deadlocked in the wild card round right now.
it's just like, what can he even do to improve this team at this point? I mean, you just have hope
Right.
for the offensive line to be healthy again. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously hire a new offensive coordinator. I mean, Justin Herbert's not going anywhere. I mean, you have way too much money wrapped around him. And, like he's your franchise
Mhm.
guy. Like, you just gotta find ways to protect him, and you just gotta like hope that he delivers in the clutch moments. I mean, and like obviously we're not gonna see Justin Herbert getting traded in the offseason. I mean, that'd be crazy to see. I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, it comes down to can Justin Herbert execute in the postseason. So far, he's 0-3, and I saw a stat. He has the second worst passer rating in postseason history in the player's first 3 games. The only person worse is Andy Dalton.
Jeez. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not great company when you talk about playoffs. I mean, this is just a really interesting situation. Now, the Patriots, as we move over to them, Drake May didn't play. He played fine. He didn't play bad, obviously. I think they were saving a lot, too, because they kind of had this game and they're more so trying to prepare for the Texans, which that game's going to be really interesting. The Texans' defense is suffocating. Going to have to see how that one goes. But the Patriots, at the end of the day, you move on. And even though it was kind of ugly, they didn't really have to do much because the Chargers just refused to do anything. I mean, we waited until the second quarter for them to score anything, and then there was just nothing from the Chargers the rest of the game. And the Patriots ended up throwing a touchdown in the fourth, but I mean, this game was gross for both sides. And
yeah.
I think the Patriots, your only silver lining is, hey, we won. And the Chargers is like, hey, Justin Herbert doesn't have to get hit again for another week. But I mean, I don't know what you say about this game too much other than it didn't go great visually. It wasn't a great game to watch.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Patriots do move on and they're going to get another home game. And the Chargers really need to rethink how they're protecting their franchise guy. Then this was another one where, while it was pretty uneventful, I was pretty amped up about it because it could have been Aaron Rodgers' last game. We're still waiting. I don't know if we've heard if he's made a final decision, but they ended up getting blown out. The score's a little misleading. They were actually pretty close for most of the game, but they just collapsed in the fourth quarter. Texans end up winning 30-6. And it's funny because we had been saying like this season, oh, the Steelers are the highest paid defense in the league, and they're not playing like it. They're like, oh, they're playing bad. And it's like, oh, now the offense is being depended on for the Steelers. Completely different case here. The Steelers made multiple turnovers. CJ Stroud fumbled it 5 times, I believe, and they barely got any points off of that at all. Steelers couldn't move the ball. I mean, this is just an abysmal performance by the Steelers and what could be Aaron Rodgers' last game here.
Yeah, it just felt like the whole Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers experience I've been accustomed to. I mean, like having a mediocre regular season and then bounce in the first round. I mean, we've been saying for the past like 9, 10 seasons now. I mean, that's just we've been accustomed to like seeing that. I mean, on the whole side of Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, I was like kind of like wondering if like that if this is actually like his like last game or not. Because I thought if the Steelers would have made like a deeper run, this would have been his last season. But I feel like he's gonna come back for at least one more season because I don't think he
Right.
wants to end off like this. And I don't know if that'll be in Pittsburgh still or will that be somewhere else, but I believe that he'll be at least for another season. He'll be back. I mean, if the Steelers made it further, and like if the Steelers won a Super Bowl, I would like I mean, call it quits. But honestly,
Right.
like, I would think and I would hope he comes back for another season. And who knows? I mean, Mike Tomlin is now not the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, he stepped down. I mean, that's weird to see. We're gonna
Right.
watch Pittsburgh Steelers games with no Mike Tomlin on the sideline. It just feels so weird because like he's been the head coach there since like we were like kids.
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the Steelers' future holds because not only do you lose your franchise coach, and they said he stepped down, but I feel like there might have been a firing involved. But out of respect for the decade and a half or so that he spent there, I mean, he's been there forever. That he spent there, they allowed him to step down. But maybe that affects Aaron Rodgers' decision. I think a big part of it is who they end up getting as head coach. And I mean, it was only a 1-year deal, so he could go somewhere else if anyone's sort of in the market for a 1-year rental. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe the Raiders are like, we're going to sit Mendoza for a year. We want Rodgers for now. Or, maybe the Jets. I mean, the Jets always need somebody. I don't want to go back there ever. But it's just every year, like, who needs a quarterback? Probably the Jets. But, I mean, Steelers is a tough way to go out on your home turf. But, I mean, at least you made it. Like, the fact that they even beat the Ravens in that game is kind of crazy with Tyler Loop missing that field goal that would have won the game. But it comes down to Texans defense was just way too good for the Steelers offense. I mean, way too good. And we've kind of seen this similar script where Buffalo went into Pittsburgh a few months back, and it felt very similar to this game. And I think that's just how this Pittsburgh team is. They get hot and then they get cold very quickly. And Texans, while it was close for a while, like the defenses were really playing well, but eventually this Texans defense just takes over the game.
Yeah, it does. It's actually insane to see. I mean, like that defense is full of demons. I mean, like it's
Right.
crazy to see the defenses take over in the fourth quarter. I mean, 23 points in the fourth quarter, and like that was 2 defensive touchdowns. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, this defense is insane. And like, if the Texans are gonna make a long run in the playoffs, I mean, that defense is gonna like take them pretty far, I believe. I mean, we'll see. I mean, with New England, if the second year quarterback Drake May is gonna like how he's gonna like fare against this number 2 ranked defense in the NFL. But on the Steelers, another point that I was like trying to say, I'm like, how many more seasons of mediocrity are they gonna like deal with? At a point, you're just gonna be like, should we just like tank and just hope to like get like one of the quarterbacks in the
Right.
2027 draft class? I'm like, it's gonna be way better. I mean, like Arch Manning.
Right.
Get like you got a guy like that, or like get like sellers, or like so many like different options that like at a point like wouldn't you just want to just tank completely instead of just like picking like the same spot, picking 19th 20th range. I'm like the Steelers have like
Right.
running back every single year, but it's just like how many more years can you still do that? Because like obviously the fan base is getting tired. I mean, and Pittsburgh is a blue collar proud city. I mean, the fan base is like pissed off and stuff about that.
Right. I mean, you just look at this team where the Texans defense is so ridiculous. And nothing against CJ Stroud, obviously, but he had a lot of points in this season where he wasn't playing well. He had the injury, but just in this game, he had that interception and then so many fumbles where he really wasn't playing well. And you start to be like, man, like nothing against CJ Stroud, but like, can you imagine if like Aaron Rodgers had this type of defense throughout his prime? Can you imagine if like Josh Allen had it over these past few years where it's just like, that's how good this Texans defense is, where it's just like, you think about what Josh Allen does every week in the playoffs, like going down the field, trying to get the win. It's like CJ Stroud turning it over so many times, almost on any drive, and you still win by 24. Like it's crazy, honestly, what the Texans defense has done. Where like in this game, especially, like the offense was obsolete. Like the offense was actually kind of hurting them. Where like they ended up scoring way more points, and it's just really interesting to see the fact that the offense was almost kind of hurting them. I mean, once again, nothing against CJ Stroud. He had 250 yards and a touchdown, but even the touchdown was even a little like backwards. Christian Kirk just makes a great play on it, but I mean, do you think that's going to hurt them going forward? Where it's like, yeah, the defense is great, but do you think the offense is going to hold them back further in the playoffs?
It's just so weird to see the CJ Stroud fall off after his rookie season. I mean, we were all expecting him to see that superstar jump, but it hasn't really been smooth sailing ever since his rookie season. And yeah, I mean that is the main concern that I have with the Texans. I mean, how much can that defense carry that offense? I mean the defense is fantastic, so I mean I can definitely see it happening. But how many more chances? I mean, obviously you're gonna play the Pittsburgh Steelers every week. I mean you're gonna play like Drake May, who's like an MVP candidate. I'm like, can the offense, like if the defense has a down game, can that offense like go blow for blow with the New England Patriots, and if they win, then go blow up with Josh Allen maybe and like all that stuff. I mean, like it's some really big questions. But honestly, I mean, if that defense is just gonna like allow the other team to score like ten points, I'm like that's your formula to win, I guess. I mean, it's just gonna be one of the biggest carry jobs. I mean, it's gonna be like not as bad as the 2000 Ravens, but it's gonna be like
Right.
pretty bad with like the offense just being abysmal and just seeing that defense just being all time great.
Right. Absolutely. And you think about the Texans, you're like, this might be their one chance because you wonder how their defense is going to be going forward. Because D'Amico Ryan's obviously great calling the defense, but also defensive coordinator Matt Burke. Now, he's been astounding this season, obviously. I mean, you look at the Texans' numbers, you look at their production. I mean, you look at this game, you'd think it was a blowout, but it's like, well, the defense just eventually strangled the Steelers and kind of took over, where it's just like Matt Burke is going to have a job somewhere else. He's already being interviewed by the Cardinals. He was interviewed by the Giants, but they already hired John Harbaugh, where it's just like he's going to have a job somewhere else, and you wonder how the defense is going to be after this. So this might be their big chance to really do something this season. I mean, going
Yeah.
forward against the Patriots, I mean, that's just a tough matchup for both sides. I don't think either really want to play this game. I think they're like, oh, like, especially Drake May and that Patriots offense, they're like, oh, like this is a terrible draw. And I don't know. They're like, man, that number one seed really would have been great now. But then even if you're in the number one seed, you're playing Josh Allen. I think there's just too many good teams in the AFC right now, even though it's not the teams that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, it's just like that's what makes the sport so much fun because like it felt like in years past it would just mean Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, but now it feels
Right.
like any one of these four remaining teams in the AFC, there's a good argument for all four of them that they can win the Super Bowl. I mean, I love
Right.
this, and like the game is so much better this way. I mean, I would prefer to never see the Chiefs again in the playoffs. I mean, I actually like this form of football.
Right. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just peak football. Yeah, but I mean, if any team can do it, I mean, it's definitely the Texans defense. I mean, they're capable of just single handedly just winning the Super Bowl, and and maybe we'll see the
Mhm.
first the a Texans Seahawks Super Bowl where we see the first best defense versus second best defense. I mean, a defense Super Bowl. I mean, that would be something. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, defense wins championships, and like if the Texans
Mhm.
somehow make Super Bowl, I mean, that'll just be that argument's just gonna come back again. I mean, to win Super Bowls, you need a great defense. I mean, shout
Right.
out Super Bowl 48.
Yeah. Yeah.
My fault for that.
That's all right. Yeah. Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line. Yeah, but I mean, we'll have to see, honestly, because it's kind of weird. Because going in this divisional round, it's like I'm rooting for the Broncos, of course, but like there's a lot of these games where it's like, oh, I'm pulling for that team, but it's like, well, if the other team won, I wouldn't really mind. Like there doesn't feel like there's any villains. Like this is a great year for playoffs.
Yeah,
Right, especially with like the Eagles gone, so we're not going to have a repeat champion. Both teams are already out. Both number one seeds from last year didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, it's just crazy what a year we've had, and it feels like
yeah,
similar to college football with all the parity that they were seeing over there, where teams that you normally wouldn't see in these top fours are making it. Teams that haven't won in a while. Like if you're looking at this list, like the Bills, I don't believe have ever won it. So, and the Texans
yeah.
haven't made a conference championship. If the Texans were to win, that would be their first ever conference championship appearance since their existence. So that would be really cool as well. So it's like
And they might
it's
be
gonna be really
hosting.
interesting for a lot of these teams.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I guess we can talk about the divisional run. I mean, Bills Broncos. I mean, like obviously, I think it's a no brainer. You're pulling for the Broncos. But how do you think this game will go? As a try to make it as a neutral perspective as much as you can.
Right, right. Yeah, I think a big part of this is the fact that the Bills are really injured. Now, you wonder how much of that adrenaline is going to be with Josh Allen. You worry about, like, oh, like how well was his leg actually after a week has passed, or his fingers. I think Josh Allen is probably fine. But you lost several receivers. You lost Gabe Davis. You lost Shavers to injury. They were already struggling a little bit with injury. And Gabe Davis, I believe, got banged up a little bit. But in any event, like, this is going to be a tough matchup for them. Just purely, not only are you going into Denver, which is one of the loudest places ever, and when you incomplete a pass and they're like incomplete, like it is loud in Denver. So I think that's going to be a big problem. And I think that's what's so funny about parity in the NFL, because you think about last year we had this same matchup and it was the number 2 versus the number 7. Now it's flipped and it's like, oh, now it's the number 1 versus the number 6, but then the teams are flipped as well. So it's like a 10 seed flip one season ago. And I think that's the biggest problem for the Bills. Now, I think Josh Allen is going to do really great in this game, obviously. Now, the Denver defense is great, but I think they've been a little lenient with the run. Guys like Josh Jacobs were able to run around him. But here's an interesting thing, though, is that when James Cook has over 100, they win. When he plays great, they win, obviously. And the Broncos have held a lot of people under 100, and Josh Jacobs was one of like the outlier where he was able to hit that. But the
Yeah.
Bills did just not have James Cook. He ended up only rushing for, what was it, about 50. It wasn't his best game, and they still ended up finding a way to win. Now, I think a lot of this is going to land on Bo Nix and try to answer some of these punches from Josh Allen, because you think about that Bills-Jaguars game, they were going back and forth. It's like Bills scored a touchdown, and then Lawrence would score a touchdown, and then Bills did it again, and then the Jaguars were unable to keep up. So if they get into that situation, I think you feel a lot of confidence with the Broncos, because that's what they've been built on. Ever since Bo Nix entered the league, he's had the most fourth quarter comebacks of any coach, of any quarterback. And so you kind of trust him in those big moments, but he's never done it in the playoffs. And the only time that he was in the playoffs, we got blown out by the Bills. So I think that's going to be really interesting. I am hesitantly excited for the Broncos, not only the Bills' injuries, but also Josh Allen. You just wonder how much can they keep this up. But also, I think you trust Bo Nix in some of these late game situations, despite him not having too much playoff experience quite yet. I think that's the biggest problem with this, is how much experience the Bills have and how much experience Josh Allen has. I think that's the biggest issue with this one, Mehul.
Yeah, in my opinion, on this game, I would say it really just comes down to, as you mentioned, Bo Nix. Bo Nix is literally going to decide this game, in my opinion. I feel like if he goes out there and like plays well, I feel like the Broncos have a great chance to win, because obviously that defense, that crowd, I feel like. But if Bo Nix, like he in the playoffs, he turns the ball over, does this. If it really feels like this game comes down to, I mean, can Bo Nix protect the ball, and like, or can Bo Nix get touchdowns like when need be? I mean, like obviously we're gonna see. I mean, 17's gonna like ball out probably. I mean, like we're gonna see that. I mean,
Right.
the will get some like key stop as well. I mean, like that defense. So really, it just comes down to the matchup of the game is, can the Bills defense force Bo Nix to like make mistakes, and can Bo Nix
Right.
make sure that they can't make those mistakes? So really, that's literally the side of the ball that matters the most. The Bills defense versus the Broncos offense. I mean, I feel like that whichever sides wins will decide
Right.
the game.
Right, absolutely. And I don't think either team is too happy about this matchup. And watching the Bills Jaguars game, like I was rooting for the Bills. Like I like Josh Allen. I was born in Buffalo, so I root for them a little bit. But thinking about that after the game ended, I was like, oh shoot, I really hope the Chargers win tonight, because I do not want to play them. But of course, Chargers didn't pull through, so that's going to be a really tough matchup for us. And then for the Seahawks, for your Seahawks, they're hosting a division rival in Seattle. How do you think their game's going to go against the 49ers? What's your prediction for this one?
That's kind of interesting because like before we did the show, I saw like a report saying that Sam Darnold might be questionable for this game, which is kind of confusing. I'm like, when did he have that injury? But he had a
Right.
press conference. He said that he is playing most likely, which is good. But like, I don't know how that would make him. I mean, obviously, like he's a pocket passer, so I don't know if how much that's going to affect him really. But
Right.
it's just I feel like if Sam Darnold doesn't go full Sam Darnold like he did last year, seeing ghost Sam Darnold, I mean, I feel like the Seahawks should win this game pretty convincingly. I mean, like I would
Right.
assume that that win by double digits again, like they won a couple weeks ago. But I mean, Brock Purdy is undefeated in Seattle playing against the Seahawks. I mean, like something has to give.
Right.
I mean, that defense are like, well, Brock Purdy like continue his dominance over the Seahawks in Seattle. I mean, who knows what will happen with that? But really, it just comes down to can Sam Darnold limit the mistakes? I mean, can he just manage the game? I mean, like that's all the Seahawks are asking him to do. I mean, the Seahawks defense is going to get them stops. I mean, it reminds me of the 2013 team. I mean, obviously Russ
Mhm.
wasn't as scary like as Sam Darnold was. Because like the way Sam Darnold is, I mean, last year we saw the way he turned the ball over against the Lions and then against the Rams, the sacks that he took and all that stuff. So if he can limit those bad plays, I feel like the Seahawks should win this game pretty convincingly. And this is not a homer take, and it just feels like the national media and I bet you would also agree the Seahawks should win this game. If Sam Darnold takes care of the ball and the Seahawks defense continues to play like they have been playing. That's my take on this game.
Right. I honestly agree. And honestly, I wouldn't be confident in any other pick as much as I would be in Seahawks win the game. Like Bills Broncos, I have no clue. I'm too worried about personal biases of any kind to really know what's going to go on in that game. I'm just too worried about that one to pick a winner, honestly. And then Texans Patriots, similar thing. I mean, Drake May has been really impressive, but I mean, this Texans defense has been just taking souls with him. And then Rams Bears, well, we just saw the Bears be fraudulent at home, but then we just saw the Rams be fraudulent on the road. So then you're like, who do you pick for a lot of these games? I feel like the only clear one, it kind of is the Seahawks to me at this moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Right.
just
And yeah.
yeah. I can't wait for that atmosphere in Seattle. I mean, like we have some of the best atmospheres in the NFL. First Denver sees Seattle, and that 12th man is gonna be fired up. I mean, I cannot wait to see that. I mean, that is about to be really fun to see. And yeah, that's probably my most confident pick. I think Seahawks are gonna beat the Niners. Moving on, Texans Patriots. I mean, this game just
Mhm.
comes down to that Texans defense versus second year Drake May. What's gonna give? I mean, is Drake May gonna like ball out like he did uh, the entire season, or will the Texans defense like suffocate him like they haven't done to the entire league for the past like 2 months?
Right. I mean, I think a lot of this game, it is going to fall on the shoulders of Drake May, because in this game, they're hosting, they're at home. Like the Texans just went on the road and just dominated the Steelers. So I think it's going to be that Steelers offense wasn't great. And if Drake May is able to do enough, I just can't see CJ Stroud and that Texans offense keeping up. So if the Patriots are able to move the ball and they're able to score, just because you think about that Steelers game, if they were able to do anything on offense, if the Steelers were like, I think the Steelers actually win like confidently because the Texans were rough. I mean, was it 6 total? Like, I mean, I don't know if technically turnovers, but I think like 5 fumbles and a pick from CJ Stroud. If he plays like that, I think there's some of these situations where it's just like if they play like that, the way they did in the first round, I just can't see how they're going to play well
Oh
in this
yeah,
semifinals. So yeah.
yeah, Stroud needs to be way better. I mean, like he should be
Oh
way
yeah.
good in this game. I mean, he cannot afford to like turn the ball over like did last game. I mean, like I'm obviously that
Right.
defense can do wonders. I mean, but we need to see CJ Stroud be calmer. We need to see him like get back to into rookie CJ Stroud. I mean, you gotta be calmer with the ball. I mean, you gotta know like coverages and stuff, and you gotta stop panicking in those moments and stop
Right.
fumbling the ball. I mean, like hold on to that rock. I mean, like that's the most important thing you can do. But yeah, it's just the matchup of this game is probably just can Drake
Mhm.
May beat that vaunted defense, and can that vaunted defense, I guess, carry the Texans back? And on the Patriots, on the other hand, they also have fantastic defense. So really, it
Mhm.
just comes down to which offense can score. I mean, obviously, I mean that's the whole point of the game. I mean, scoring points, but like which offense could play better against his elite defenses. And I feel
Right.
like, in my opinion, I would pick the Texans to win this game. But it'll be close. It's like I would say the score is like 2017 or something like that. A close victory for the Texans.
Yeah, low scoring for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
yeah,
the Texans are going to do, though. They're going to try to shorten this game. They're going to try to slow it down. And as long as the offense of the Texans doesn't mess it up, then I think they could have a really great chance here. But it's just about this matchup. And I think, as you said, like, oh, a key part is going to be like, how is going to Bo Nix and that Broncos offense, how are they going to do against the defense of the Bills? They're really going to have to come up huge in those moments. I think a very similar thing is with Drake May and this Patriots offense. If they're able to play well enough against the Texans defense, I feel like they're going to be able to keep pace pretty solid because I would be surprised if the Texans offense is able to do too great in this one. I mean, we saw them in the wild card round against the Steelers, and they were very lackluster. They weren't going to blow you away with anything. And if they play like that against the Patriots, even if the Patriots aren't astounding on offense, as long as they're above average, I don't see how the Texans have a chance if they keep playing like that on offense.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be some very fun matchups that we're going to in these next couple of days. And my personal like favorite, as like not like a fan of it, Rams Bears. I feel like this is going to be a great game. Because
Right.
like both offenses are elite, and like we might see like a shootout. But another key factor is the weather. I mean, I saw the temperature. It's going to be like negative 18 degrees with a wind chill. Like, I mean, and a team that's from California. I mean, they don't play like in environments like that. It's gonna be like one of those cold games, and who knows? Maybe it'll just be a defensive battle. I mean, but in the situation, I'm like, which quarterback do you trust most? Obviously, you're gonna say Matthew Stafford because he's been here. He's a Super Bowl champion. I mean,
Right.
it's really just experience versus youth at this point. I mean, this game is really just that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, we'll have to see how that one goes down. And the Rams just went to Carolina, and they didn't do that great. I think they might have been looking ahead to the next round. I think that might have been a part of that. And also, the Panthers just kind of have their number for some reason. But I think the Rams need to take that. They need to adjust, and they need to understand, oh, that was a close call, and then pour everything into this Bears game because the Bears are one of those teams where you really don't know what to make of them because for a half of football, like you said, they looked like the 0-16 Browns. Like they looked horrendous for a full half of football, and even in the third quarter, they didn't look great. And then all of a sudden, like you wake up and you're like, they won the game. How? Where it's just like that's what's really funny about the Bears because it feels like you can never count them out. It feels like you can never count the Rams out. And so normally you would pick the Rams, you would pick Matthew Stafford and this team from LA, but the Bears are just such a weird team. You really don't know what to make about them. I feel like they could lose to anybody and beat anybody at this point, and so it would not surprise me at all if they ended up beating the Rams. But I do think it'll be somewhat of a shootout. It just depends what the weather is going to allow.
Yeah. So, what are your conference championship predictions then? What are your final predictions after evaluating each?
Mm, Okay, so I think my picks. I think I take the Bears at home. I do. I think I take both home teams in the divisional. It's funny
Okay,
because both in the NFC, I'm taking both home teams. In the AFC, I'm taking both away teams. Bills, Texans, Bears, Seahawks, and then for the final games, Bills going as Houston. I that one's going to be interesting. I mean, we already saw
yeah,
that earlier this year and it didn't go well, but I just feel like you get into these games where it's just like there's no reason the Bills should win. They should definitely lose. This team from Buffalo should not be able to compete. They should not go on the road. But then every time you're like, but it's Josh Allen though, and you just can't pick against them. So I
yeah,
got Bills Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and I mean, I think a safe pick is going with the Seahawks because you think they have a better chance to be there. But once again, it's just you get the feeling that because it's Josh Allen, they're gonna find a way to win it. So
yeah.
that's how I'm feeling at this moment.
Yeah, it's just that's literally what it comes down to. I'm like, it's gonna be a fun like I'm chess match defense offense. I mean, then but the remaining quarterbacks, I'm like none of them is on Josh Allen's level. I mean you can argue Stafford's close, but like none of these quarterbacks are like they can like go toe to toe with Josh Allen. But so it really just comes down to can your defense make those stops against a player like Matthew Stafford or Josh Allen, all those two elite quarterbacks. But yeah, that's literally what it comes down to. And defense does win championships. I mean, like we've been hearing that. I mean, the last time the Broncos played against a Superman quarterback in the Super Bowl, I mean, they owned him.
Right. Hey, that's a really good point. But I mean, it's just really interesting because as long as Stafford doesn't win it, like there will be a new quarterback that has Super Bowl champion on his resume. And you think about like who deserves it. And this is why the Bills have such a great chance because you're like Bo Nix. I mean, he's only played one time in the playoffs and it didn't go great. And then you look at CJ Stroud, he's gotten some playoff wins, but never beyond the wild card round. And also, like pretty much always against teams that kind of feel lifeless and shouldn't have been there originally, where it was the Browns originally. And then last year they ended up beating the Chargers that just had no fight in them. And then this year they beat the Steelers that barely showed up. And then like the Patriots, Drake May, like he hasn't been at all. Can't Caleb Williams hasn't been here at all. Sam Darnold has only been here once, I believe, last year with the Vikings, and it was a rough performance. And then Brock Purdy might be, besides Matthew Stafford, the most experienced just because of all the times
Yeah.
he's been in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So, and just look at the AFC side. Like, none of those quarterbacks, and you're talking about, like, oh, like, that's all in the NFC. Like, Josh Allen is the only one that has the experience. This team is the only one that has the experience, and I feel like has the ability to go win a Super Bowl. I think they all have that chance. It's just, it's hard to say that they're going to beat Buffalo in a head to head. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, it's literally experience versus the youth. We're gonna see quarterbacks that have been there, and then a quarterback that has not been there. I mean, great offenses versus like great defenses. I mean, like, I
Right.
mean, the NFL is at its peak right now. Obviously, with the whole looming threat that Kansas City is going to win eventually. I mean, that's all gone now. I mean, now it's just
Right.
like out of these 8 teams. I mean, anyone can win, and I wouldn't be shocked. Any of these teams can win. I mean, it's just like NFL
Right.
parity that is at all time high.
Right. And I think it really shows you just how good that 2024 QB class was. Because you're
Yeah,
seeing Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix all in the final 8 and all having a home playoff game. And then you don't even talk about the fact that Jaden Daniels also won 2 playoff games last
yeah,
year. So I believe they're at 4 on the total tally. And we'll see how many they end up getting this week, if any of them end up getting past the divisional round. But they're all playing at home. It's just crazy that those teams have taken that much of a jump since being in the market. I mean, Patriots and Bears at those points, they were in the top 3 of draft picks, and now they've turned it around. That's how crazy that the NFL can change when you get that right draft pick, when you get the right team involved, when you get a guy like Mike Vrabel, when you get a guy like Ben Johnson. And as we look at the current head coach carousel, it's kind of wild how many teams have now fired their head coaches. I mean, it's kind of the thing where like, oh, like we're not making the playoffs, and then once like guys like Harbaugh and Tomlin got fired, it felt like nobody was safe, man.
yeah. It's just like weird to see. I mean, like guys that we've been accustomed to seeing on the sidelines. I mean, Harbaugh and Tomlin, we've seen them for so many years. I mean, they're getting out. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
whole cycle, I'm like, it just feels like that we're gonna see a new era in the NFL, and then, like it's time for change, and we're about to see like the NFL at its best. I mean, like, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's so weird to like watch the Steelers or Ravens game with no Harbaugh and no Tomlin. And
Right.
congrats to Harbaugh on the new job you got with the Giants. I mean, like that'd be interesting to see how like that
Right.
works and like how he develops Jackson Dart and like how
Mm-hmm.
Todd Monk and I'm like going from a different quarterback. I mean, you're going from like a 2-time MVP to a guy in his second year. I mean, like it'll be interesting to see.
Right. Absolutely. And some of these jobs that are open, as you see, like Pete Carroll, Mike McDaniel, like Jonathan Gannon, everybody is getting canned. What do you think are like the top 3 most appealing jobs right now?
Uh, let's see. Number one, Ravens. I mean, obviously, because like Lamar Jackson.
Right.
I mean, you have that quarterback. I mean, like once you have the quarterback, I mean, if you have the right coach, pair that with him. I mean, the
Right.
Ravens job is probably the best one because roster wise, and you have
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson.
Right. What
Two,
do you
I
think
would
for next?
probably
Yeah.
say it really depends because like I want to say the Steelers, but also I don't know like what the Steelers are doing. Like quarterback is Will Howard gonna like start with Steelers? Is Aaron Rodgers still gonna be there? I mean, it really just comes down to that.
Right.
Yeah. Um.
Right.
But I would say 3, the Raiders, because with Fernando Mendoza coming in. I mean, like that's a job
Right.
that you love to have. I mean, like plus you're gonna get that stud rookie. Then you also have Ashton Genty. I mean, like and you still have like Brock
Right.
Bowers and all the pieces, and like you just gotta like upgrade that O line and like draft that
Mm-hmm.
right back, and then maybe we'll see the Raiders making the playoffs instead next year. I mean, like it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like but yeah, my top 3 would be
Mm-hmm.
Ravens 1, 2 or 3. I'll flip to the Steelers and the Raiders depending on like what they're doing with the quarterback. But yeah, that's my top 3.
Right. I mean, I think with the Raiders job, it makes it so appealing where you're coming in, you're like, okay, not only do you get Ashton Genty, you get a guy like Brock Bowers. Max Crosby, if he ends up staying, although he was pretty upset that they made him sit out. So we'll see what ends up happening with his status. But at the end of the day, you're bringing in a guy like Mendoza with the number 1 pick, who I think could really turn it around. People are already buying like fake Mendoza Raiders jerseys. Like it's a foregone conclusion. But you also think about the fact that Tom Brady is a minority owner of the Raiders, and you think like he's gonna like give off any of his knowledge, or you think that they're gonna have like practices together or like workouts together. Like you think like at any event, like they are like he is going to get better under the guidance of Tom Brady. So it's just like that's not a bad job to have, especially when you're thinking about jobs like let's say the Titans. Like, obviously, Cam Ward is very talented, but it's like outside of that, what do the Titans have going for it? Like, how much success are you really going to have there? And obviously, it would be cool to develop a guy like Cam Ward, but like, the ownership was so stupid and decided to fire Mike Vrabel and trade several key players, and it's like the team's just in disarray. So when you're thinking about these openings, like definitely the Ravens are a really lucrative job because I mean you're talking about Lamar Jackson. Of course you want to coach him. You're like, oh, if you can handle it on the field and I just don't choke leads or if I just don't like mess it up, then you should keep your job. So yeah, I don't know. I think I also feel like the Ravens and the Raiders are pretty high picks for these jobs.
If you had to like make like an early prediction, which coach goes where? If you had to like pick like which team gets which,
Mm,
what are your early predictions? I mean, what would be the best fit
yeah.
as like schematically and stuff?
Right. Well, I think Matt Burke, defensive coordinator for the Texans, he's definitely going somewhere. And I know that he's getting interviewed by the Cardinals, but I would be surprised if they hired him because they just had Jonathan Gannon, defensive head coach, did not go great. I would be surprised if they took him in. I think you start thinking about teams like maybe the Raiders, maybe he'll go there. But honestly, is Mike Tomlin looking for another job? Does he want to go somewhere else? Because I think a lot of these teams would say, all right, like we'll take losing in
Yeah,
the playoffs. Like at least we'll be there.
yeah. The thing about Mike Tomlin is that he technically didn't get fired; he stepped down. So the
Right.
teams can trade for him, not like they can't just like sign him. So you would need to trade pieces for Mike Tomlin.
Right. Yeah, that's the crazy part about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I would want I would want to go get Brian Flores from the Vikings. That
Oh
would
yeah.
be me, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, or like so someone like an offensive man coach for the for Lamar and like get him a offensive man. I mean, like that like elevate his game to like a whole different level.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there's so many like great coaches and like coordinators and like obviously going back with Michael Fleur. I mean, like he might be out and like he might
Mhm.
be picked up another team. And like if the Bills
Right.
maybe lose, maybe Sean McDermott gets canned. I mean, like there's so many uncertainties. Yeah,
Right. And then you think about some of these teams, some of these coaches, you think like, oh, are they gonna like find a head coaching job somewhere else, or are they gonna fall back into the role of a coordinator, at least for the time being? Do you think that's the reality for guys like Mike McDaniel?
yeah. It feels like I'm like Mike McDaniel seems like that the Ravens might get or like a team that like needs a new offensive coordinator. I mean, like they can use him. Maybe he'll get another coaching somewhere else eventually.
Mhm.
But yeah, that just yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season. And like we're gonna see a lot of like same faces in new places. I mean, it'll
Mhm.
be kind of fun to see. I mean, and then we have teams like the
Right.
Bengals that are not willing to do anything and not help their superstar quarterback. I mean, not firing Zach Taylor. I mean, like that's just the organization failed at that point. And like as you can tell, I mean,
Right.
you can tell that Joe Burrow has been like upset about it, and like he's also hinted at like some he said some like skeptic messages and stuff, and just what do you do with the quarterback
Right.
that's like Joe Burrow's level? I'm like you can't like you're holding him back. I mean, like he's like injuries or like that. I mean, like he deserves to like compete in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, it just comes down to
Right.
ownership at that point. Like it is interesting to
Right.
see. Yeah,
Right. Do you think guys like you think Kevin Stefanski's going to find a job somewhere else? I mean, he's won Coach of the Year twice. Like
yeah,
maybe like the Raiders or the Titans might say, "Yeah,
yeah.
screw it, let's get him."
Yeah, like I was like seeing like some like Ravens or Raiders. I'm like Kevin Stefanski with Fernando Mendoza. I'm like I would like love to see that. I'm like that
Yeah.
offense and like coach and like seeing him develop Fernando Mendoza and seeing the Raiders I mean compete. I mean like obviously as like a Broncos fan, you don't want the Raiders to be good. So like that'll be like
Obviously, that's why I hate this so much because it's
yeah
like the Raiders, like obviously the Chiefs with their recent success and like whatever you want to call it with the Chiefs. Obviously, I haven't liked them, but like the Raiders are the only team that I like really dislike just because they're the Raiders, and it's like I'm sick of these teams trying to make themselves likable. It's like, oh, I gotta like the Raiders. Yeah, I
yeah
don't know.
yeah.
I mean, it's just impossible to hate a guy like Fernando Mendoza, so we'll see. But part of the strategy with keeping Zach Taylor, I guess they're saying, okay, the Steelers, Tomlin, like the Ravens and Harbaugh, and then Stefanski with the Browns, they're thinking these teams are kind of tearing down their cultures by firing their head coaches, and they're thinking, hey, if we can hang on to the one that we have already, then maybe like those teams will crash because like the Bengals, like if we kind of know what they are, and then the Steelers and Ravens, if they both crash next season, that division might not look great at all. And they're thinking, hey, if we just hang on to Taylor and just hope that they all kind of just crash on their own. That's kind of like the thought process. But do you think Zach Taylor should keep his job after these past couple of years? I mean, you have Joe Burrow have MVP stats, and you don't even get a playoff spot a few years ago, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it just failure. Like the Bengals just have terrible ownership, and like
Right.
like Joe Burrow deserves way better. And I was seeing some like obviously I doubt it's gonna happen because that'll be crazy. I was seeing some weird rumors where Joe Burrow going to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. I mean that would be
I
insane.
heard that.
I mean I don't think that's
Yeah, and
gonna
he'd
happen. But
reunite with Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
yeah, I mean like I don't think that's gonna happen. But that would be like kind of fun to see. And plus, I would like preferred Burrow away from the AFC. I mean, like letting Josh Allen like have like one less quarterback to like deal with. I mean, that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, but honestly, we're just seeing like ownership just like failing a superstar quarterback, and we've seen that like multiple times. I mean, shout out the Ravens for finally just giving in, just like handing Harbaugh and like giving Lamar like something new and something fresh to build with. And like maybe the Bills will do the same if like Josh Allen doesn't make the Super Bowl again, and like because like they're also getting older in age, and like how many more times do you have? Because like with all these
Right.
young quarterbacks also like balling. I mean, Bo Nix, Drake May, they're also coming. It's just like how many more chances do you get in this like in this tight league? I mean, like it just
Right.
pairs at all time high. I mean, like every single chance they miss, I'm like as Dan Campbell said, like when they lost to 49ers a
Mhm.
year back, 2 years back, where like
Right.
this time they're only chance, and like we saw the Lions. I mean, they just collapsed after like a 2 year stint where like they were like balling. Yeah, it's just that's how the NFL is. I mean, like it's year league. I'm like just because you had a good season doesn't mean that you're gonna come back to that. It's just that's the unfortunate reality of football.
Right, absolutely. And we'll see how some of these teams start to develop. And the head coaching circus is crazy because, I mean, so many guys have gotten fired. And you think about, like, Kyle Shanahan might be kind of happy because all these firings, like, he's kind of getting his staff back from the Super Bowl run with Jimmy Garoppolo, where it's like you get Robert Saleh back, and they're like, oh, if Mike McDaniel's fired now, maybe he'll come back to the Niners. Where a lot of these coaches are like, yes, we can finally get our coordinators back.
Yeah, it's
Right.
me.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
but
there, yeah.
I mean, you can go and finish racing.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Was there a coach that was fired that you think that shouldn't have been, or do you think they were all pretty just?
Mm, let me see. If I had to pick one coach where I was like kind of confused about.
Like Harbaugh, Tomlin,
Mm,
Dabble.
no, I feel like that. Yeah, I mean, like I felt like it was time to move on, and like just so many years of the same thing happening over and over again. It was time to just move on. But yeah, there are definitely coaches that like stayed that like Austin Foods that like weren't fired like Todd Bowles and like how many more chances is he gonna get in Tampa? I mean, clearly see the Buccaneers are just the same team year out. I mean, they either win the South barely
Mhm.
or they lost barely. And like the quarterback situation is Baker's that guy or is Baker not that guy? I mean, like it just all those
Right,
question marks. Yeah, it's just
right,
interesting. Yeah,
right. And it doesn't help that the former OC Liam Cohen immediately has way more success while the Buccaneers are struggling. A lot of people are like, "Man, we should have just promoted Liam Cohen and then let Todd Bowles walk." But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how some of these progress. And honestly, as the playoffs continue to wager on, I'm really excited for some of these because you're talking about teams that were in the wild card. Like people were saying that if the Bills lost, Sean McDermott would be fired. Do you think that was a possible case there?
yeah. I mean, like Bills fans are like constantly like disappointed. I mean, like once you have that star quarterback, I mean, you want to just like win, and like they've been held back so many times, and like McDermott has like blown leads. Their defense is like not been clutch in situations like the 13 seconds game. I mean, that's the game where like they should have won the defense and like yeah, but I definitely felt like if the Bills did end up losing to the Jaguars, I felt like that like it was time for the Bills to like move on from Sean. But that
Right.
was just my perspective on that whole deal. Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see because like as you know, like 1 year you miss, I mean that's one less year you have with a quarterback, and quarterbacks are getting older, and like next year Lamar, Burrow, and Allen are gonna be 30. Mahomes is already 30 years old. I'm like, how many more chances do you get? Because like it's like the league is getting tougher, and like we're gonna see younger teams like getting better. I mean, that's just I mean, you just have to go win now. I mean, you just have to go win now
Right.
mode. Like you can't just like rely on like we might win next year. Like it's just like you just have to. You're gonna get many cracks into this thing. I mean, like any of these 8 teams left. I mean, like they have to be in the win now mentality because who knows how many more cracks they're gonna get at this thing. I mean, like the league is year to year. I mean, like that's just how the NFL works. I mean, it's a sad reality of the whole situation. I mean, who knows if the Commanders. I mean, like we all thought the Commanders will be back here year after year. It's like how they end off last year in that championship game. But like now they're all old and stuff and like all that they're not the same team and they've barely won 4 games. So and injuries happen and all that stuff happens. So you can't just like mortgage your now for the future because like that's just not how the NFL works really.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of those quarterbacks from not only that draft class with Lamar and Allen, like they're certainly getting older, but we'll have to see because this feels like the Bills' chance. Like the Ravens are already out, the Chiefs are out, the Bengals are out. You don't have to worry about Burrow, Mahomes, or Jackson. Like this is the year. And so we'll see if they end up figuring this out. And then to cap off, what do you think would be your Super Bowl matchup and who do you think wins that game?
I got in the Super Bowl matchup. I got Rams Bills.
Mm,
Yeah, I have the experience winning here. I have the Bills like being Broncos. I mean, unfortunately for you, but like I feel like the Bills are more
right,
experienced. I feel like it's finally time for Josh Allen to like get over that hump, finally make Super Bowl. And I feel like on the Rams side, I just feel like they've been here. They've done that. I mean, I feel like they're gonna like beat Bears, and then who knows if they're hosting against Niners maybe, or maybe they go on the road in Seattle. I mean, they almost won in Seattle. It took some like wacky plays. I mean, it took that tipped or ball and then like it was like a fumble. It was like so weird that 2 point conversion play,
right.
and then them barely winning in overtime. I mean, like obviously I would hope that the Seahawks makes the Super Bowl, but if I
Mhm.
like go with my gut, I'm going Rams Bills, and that would be a phenomenal Super Bowl. I mean. Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen. I mean, that's gonna be a offensive masterclass. I mean, for
Right.
as a viewer's perspective, I mean, that's peak television, and you want to see that. But yeah, that would be my Super Bowl prediction: Rams, Bills.
Right, absolutely. I can understand you picking the Rams because after that Seahawks Rams game, you got the feeling where it was like, man, this game was so fluky. I don't even
Yeah.
care where the next one is played. You just feel like the Rams are going to do better. But then with the way the Rams played against the Panthers, I think you start to worry and you're like, well, can they win in Chicago? And then like they have to go on the road several times in a row before they even get to the Seahawks. So we'll see if they end up making it there. But at the end of the day, I'm really excited for this Elite Eight. And honestly, there's not too many teams on here that I would be too upset with if they won it all. I guess just like the Niners or the Rams, just because they're always up there. But honestly, there's no real villains. Like this is such a great year for the playoffs, and I'm really excited to get into the rest of the year as it progresses. As we got the divisional round this weekend. Appreciate you joining the program, Mehul.
Yeah, thanks for having me. and and I can't wait for this this division round and let's see what just happens. I mean, it's wide open.
Right, it absolutely is, and we'll see how some of these teams perform as we get closer and closer. We're just about a month away now from the Super Bowl. This is the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King, and thanks for tuning in.